Ladies and gentlemen, we finally have it. The Spider-Man A Brand New Day trailer, and it was worth the wait. And I loved every single second of it. And this is going to be unlike any other Spider-Man movie we've ever seen. And with Peter Parker and now living his adult life as Spider-Man, now no one knows who he is, including Ned and MJ. And this has everything that we ever want for a Spider-Man story. And I'm gonna gush about this trailer even more now. So this will be my full breakdown of the trailer, going shot by shot, point out Easter eggs, things that you may have missed, and what you need to know going into this new Spider-Man movie coming out on July 31st or so. Let's not waste any time. And so, if you're new, then be sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell so I'm on any future bits. But now, let's get started. And first things first, I really liked how we center on this story on Peter Parker, because no one knows who he is, including Ned and MJ, because this is after the events of Spider-Man No Way Home. And then that's how we open up the trailer with Peter suited up as Spider-Man, watching a video of Ned and MJ, how they're excited for MIT, and we just feel so sad for Peter, and now that he has now lost his friends, and now his loved ones have no idea who he is because of the memory wipe spell, and this puts everything on the hands of Peter Parker, and now that he is living his adult life as Spider-Man. And now we see the full suit in action. Yes, this is the new suit that was made at the end of No Way Home when he took that final swing. And even with the plot synopsis that was released that explains everything, with the synopsis it reads, Peter is now an adult living entirely alone, having voluntarily erased himself from the lives and memories of those he loves. Crime fighting in New York that no longer knows his name. He's devoted himself entirely to protecting his city, a full-time Spider-Man. But as the demands on him intensify, the pressure sparks a surprising physical evolution that threatens his existence, even as a strange new pattern of crimes gives rise to one of the most powerful threats he has ever faced. And from that right there, and that just proves to show that Peter Parker is now taking on a new threat. And we know that there is an antagonist involved, especially for what the trailer unveiled to us. And then we get a shot of Spider-Man doing a fall, and this shot looks perfect, and we are back to the original Florida roots for what we know from a Spider-Man story, and this honestly looks sick. And even with the shot of Peter breathing in his mask, it is a perfect start to open up this trailer. And honestly, this gets me so excited knowing that this is coming from Destin Dale Cretton that did Shang-Chi, but now having him in the hands of a Spider-Man movie, and it looks totally different. And this will be a grounded story from our friendly neighborhood web singer, and I think this movie is gonna be fantastic. And next we see Peter what it looks like to be in a coffee shop, and we see Ned walking in, passing him by, and with Peter in a narration that says, my name is Peter Parker, I don't know if you remember me, but we used to know each other. And then next thing that he says is Spider-Man had to make the sacrifice of erasing his memories of everyone knows who he loves, including Ned and MJ. And we see Peter alone and washing his suit, and we see on the TV Spider-Man giving keys to the city. So he is now the protector, and that New York knows Spider-Man, but they have no idea who Peter Parker is. With Ned and MJ just watching him on the TV, and also in the next frame we see is Spider-Man about to take a swing, and with the Spider-Man suit in action, I cannot gush and gush so much more about how great the suit looks. And this confirms that we're going to be officially getting organic webbing from his suit, and that's something that I'll get into later on. That's later revealed in the trailer. But this is how Peter is now adapting to life. I mean, and no one is with him. no Happy, no Aunt May, and now that Peter is now entirely alone and he has to adapt to that style. And what is also confirmed that this is taking place 4 years after the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, and that they are skipping his college life. So, I'm pretty sure that's a good thing. And now they're focusing on the adult life, this version of Peter Parker that we've ever seen. And then we get the most coolest sequence ever with Spider-Man that is going to stop a tank. And this is probably related to the set photos that we saw in the early days of filming. And then he gets run over by John Berthel's Punisher, and yeah, we're getting the Punisher in a Spider-Man movie, which is so exciting to see Spider-Man and Punisher meet for the first time. And even for like how this goes down, it doesn't start off on the right foot. Spider-Man says that he'll run him over. He immediately swings kicks him out of his truck, and then it's a very hilarious meetup. But I think we're gonna see a Spider-Man and the Punisher working together, as in later shots reveal that they're gonna be taking down a much more bigger threat than Spider-Man has ever faced. And also with the Punisher being in here, and even with the Punisher special presentation that is coming up soon after Daredevil Born Again Season 2, and I think the events in that special presentation are going to lead directly into this movie, and I think that's where the adventures of the Punisher are going to lead into this new Spider-Man outing. And I think John Bernthal is probably going to give his great performance as the Punisher, because he was born to play that character just no matter what. And next, we hear a narration from Peter that says even Spider-Man has to do the hard thing, even if it means breaking Peter Parker's heart. And this is the scene where we see Peter at a party, and we see Ned and MJ there. But what do we see? MJ with her new boyfriend, and that confirms it, because now not knowing who their best friend is, which is Peter Parker, and now is he going to convince MJ of who he really is? Are they going to have any memory of Peter Parker? And I think this might cause a tension between Peter and MJ for what Peter's about to get himself into. And I think just with MJ having a new boyfriend, and I think it's gonna cause so much sadness for Peter. Him and MJ are the ultimate couple just for when it comes to their relationship in the Spider-Man movies, and specifically Far From Home and No Way Home. Their relationship is unstoppable, and just me and Peter made the ultimate sacrifice into erasing the memories from those people that he loves, and in order to proceed with his life. So, and just with Peter seeing MJ with another guy, it's totally gonna have him with so much jealousy, but he is going to live through that. And this is trying to take on something plus mentally, and he's handling life just fine as Spider-Man. But I wonder for how Peter and MJ's dynamic will go down, and now that MJ has a new love interest. So that's what I'm trying to figure out as well. And now this part is pretty interesting, because we see Peter all miserable and broken, and he collapses, and he is figuring out for what is happening to him, because I think this is causing him to mutate, and this is leading him to pay a visit to Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo's return to the character. And as we can see, he is teaching at a university. And now with Bruce Banner and Peter Parker meeting, and we have never seen them meet up with each other throughout the entire course of the MCU, not even the Avengers movies. I can tell that, Bruce Banner definitely has no memory of Peter Parker, but he's definitely going to need his help of figuring for what it is causing us to actually mutate. And I think we're definitely getting Savage Hulk, and it definitely confirms everything, especially with early reports saying that Bruce Banner is definitely going to be like Savage Hulk and trying to take on this threat. So Punisher and Hulk are definitely going to be helping Peter Parker, and for the way that this Spider-Man outing is going to treat him, and I think it's gonna be so great. And also with the shot that we see later on is with Peter trying to handle his organic webbing, and as we can see, like, he is hanging on by his underwear, and that's how he is handling. Like, he does not have his web shooters that was made by Stark Technology, but he has his organic webbing, like, from the suit that he made, and it's gonna be a real challenge, like, just to see him handle organic webbing. And of course, that was with Tobey's Spider-Man, but just to see him, like, handling all of it, and we see Spider-Man trying to handle organic webbing, and yeah, it's not working out for him, and he is having trouble trying to control it for how his DNA is trying to attract to his webbing of the way that he web slings. And next, we see him visiting Aunt May's grave and trying to mourn the loss of his aunt. And yeah, it was pretty sad just to witness that in No Way Home. And yeah, I mean, it got me right in the feels just to see like Aunt May's passing like that. And also, he did visit her grave in the final moments of No Way Home. And now, with this moment, I want to point out is that could this be Sadie Sink in the trailer? Because the next shot that we see is in a building with someone handcuffed to a chair, and from what we can tell from the green clothing, and could this be Sadie Sink? And for what she is playing, like, yeah, it is confirmed that she's going to be playing a Jean Grey in the film, but we don't get a reveal of who is handcuffed. So I'm guessing, like, they didn't want to reveal her, but this is definitely a Sadie Sink in A Brand New Day. And we know that she's confirmed to be in the movie, but this is a nice way of hinting her appearance in the film, but we don't entirely see her. And in a later shot, we can see her standing there with a green hood, so that's a further proof of evidence. But it is also confirmed that Damage Control is going to be hunting down Jean Grey. And even leading to my question is Jean Grey somehow doing all this to help out Spider-Man? And I figured that this is possibly going to be her mysterious role that's going to be revealed later on. In the next shot, we see Spider-Man handling a showdown, like a fight, what looks to be a prison. And I think for how Peter and Sadie Sink's character are going to meet. But yeah, this is going to be so wild to have Jean Grey, Scorpion, Punisher, and Savage Hulk all in one Spider-Man movie, and that's going to be just quite the treat. Next, we get our first look at Tremel Tillman, as he says that they are facing a more powerful threat, one they can ever see. And now, for who he is playing, that he is going to be a William Mensinger, who's like a key figure leading the Department of Damage Control, because that's where its first appearance was in Spider-Man No Way Home, for when they took Peter in, being framed to be killing Mysterio and to be revealing his full identity as Spider-Man. And now Department of Damage Control is now going to be playing a role in A Brand New Day. And also, the last time that we saw them was in the Wonder Man series. With Tremel Tillman's character, he is possibly going to be an antagonist, and he's reportedly also going to be anti-mutant militia as like a key to the X-Men, so it could be possibly hinting at a future role. So I think like he is going to be somewhat in charge in like parts of the Department of Damage Control, looking for this threat. And yeah, I mean, Damage Control exists in the MCU, and now from No Way Home, and now in Brand New Day, so I'm wondering how that's gonna help out Spider-Man, and now that Damage Control is gonna have a slightly part of a big role. And now, with these next couple shots that are very impressive, and that is, we have Michael Mando's Scorpion taking on Spider-Man, and they're finally going to tie up that loose end, because in Spider-Man Homecoming's post-credit scene, that's where we got introduced to him and how he might be going after Spider-Man, but now with that loose end, it's now going to be coming into play. And now I did not think that we were going to get the confirmation of Scorpion making his debut in the MCU, but damn, I just love how we're getting Scorpion in this film, because he is a Spider-Man villain and taking on Spider-Man, and then we get this shot of Peter and MJ. It looks like to be on the roof, so they're going to be handling their relationship problems, and how are they going to work things out? How has their relationship evolved now? They're totally in the friend zone now. I mean, I don't know if there's any way of Peter getting MJ back, but now she has moved on to a new love interest. And I'm not sure like how that's going to play out, but yeah, Peter and MJ are going to be dealing with their own stuff. And we see Spider-Man handling his mission in New York City, trying to stop a tank, and I don't know what's going to lead him to that a showdown about to happen, but Spider-Man is going to be at his toughest that he has ever faced, and I think Peter Parker is going to be taking on like anything that we've seen it, and that's why he is going to need Bruce Banner and Frank Castle, and he is going to be like not pretty much alone, but he's gonna have some help. But this is with Spider-Man just being on his own, doing like the street level stuff and that gritty, grounded storytelling that we've been dying to see on the big screen with this type of story. And now with the rest of the trailer is what I want to talk about, and it is non-stop action-packed, and we can see Spider-Man continuing his mission, and we see him fighting these villains, and we see Spider-Man web-slinging with someone under his arms, and this could be like a henchman or someone that he is fighting, and this is an exact recreation of amazing fantasy Spider-Man comic, and this looks absolutely perfect of the way this is pulled off, and based for how these shots look, for how this Spider-Man movie is going to feel different, and I think it definitely has a much better tone than the other Spider-Man outings in the MCU from the John Watts trilogy, but here it looks absolutely perfect, and we see Spider-Man taking on these villains from a Boomerang, a Tarantula, and now to the Hand, so he's gonna have a lot of work to handle in this Spider-Man movie, and that's why he needs the Punisher. They're gonna be a duo fighting these villains, and also based on the shot of Spider-Man swinging while fighting Boomerang, it's gonna be so amazing, and I just generally love this shot, and yeah, it's one I think got me the most excited. And we see Spider-Man and the Hand fighting and having a showdown, and to end the trailer, and we hear the word rebirth while the Hand is being led by an army, and this shot of them trying to get close to Spider-Man as they're about to fight, and that right there is like the perfect ending to this trailer. It's called a Rebirth, and this is gonna be a brand new story, like a brand new fitting for Spider-Man to be taking on a brand new threat. It's gonna be a bigger story, and about this specific trailer shot, and for what we're all speculating, is Spider-Man is definitely not fighting alone here. So who else could be fighting alongside him? Well, it could be Jean Grey, or it could just be Punisher, but we all know that Jean Grey is going to be helping out Spider-Man, or it could be Daredevil, but it is confirmed that he is not going to be in Brand New Day, but it is a possibility. But we're just throwing out our predictions here. But again, Spider-Man is definitely not going to be fighting alone. And then to end the trailer, we see Peter trying to get MJ to remember who he is, as like, yeah, And now that Peter is now living across the hall from MJ, so she is his neighbor, and we can see that he has brought flowers as a housewarming gift, and Ned involved. So it's gonna be a quite interesting challenge to see if MJ really remembers Peter. And also, she is wearing her black dahlia necklace, and on her wall it's all Spider-Man related stuff, and even though she's moved on to a new love interest, she is still trying to look for Peter, and maybe this is a sign that she will still remember him by the end of the movie. We are not sure, and I think Ned and MJ are now going to be having a role, and I think Peter is gonna have a lot of challenges to face, and now both as Spider-Man and now in his personal life, and now taking on these serious threats, and now with Punisher, a Scorpion, Hulk now in the big picture, and now this is going to be a big Spider-Man movie as we look ahead to the big picture for Spider-Man Brand New Day. And that does it for this trailer breakdown for Spider-Man Brand New Day. This is my most anticipated Marvel title ever, and just to see how great the film looks and how Destin Dale Creighton is going to adapt his style, and I think this is a much better looking Spider-Man movie out of the previous MCU Spider-Man entries, but I think that this is going to deliver no matter what, and I'm excited to see Tom Holland's back in the role as Peter Parker, being that friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but trying to take on his adult life, and with Spider-Man facing all of these things, and yeah, his memory is erased from his loved ones, including his friends, and especially one of his fellow Avengers, which is Bruce Banner, but now it's gonna be quite the challenge and much of a big street level fighting story, and we're gonna get some of the multiverse, and yeah, I can't wait for it. I am seated in that theater July 31st. But that's gonna do it for this video. Just let me know down below in the comments, and did you enjoy the trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day? What are your thoughts on my breakdown? And if there's anything that you caught that I may have missed, but let me know down below in the comments what you think of the trailer. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe and turn on notifications bell for future videos. Also follow all my social medias, all linked down below. And with that, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.